There are a lot of things I miss about being young and stupid. Road trips with your best friend, driving all night just because you can, feeling invincible. But after what happened on Highway 58, I learned that some roads aren't meant to be driven alone, and some cars aren't following you by accident. It was the summer after my sophomore year of college. My buddy Eric and I decided to drive overnight from Arizona to Colorado to meet up with some friends. We figured if we left around 10 at night, we'd miss all the traffic and get there by sunrise. Plus, gas was cheaper, the roads were empty, and neither of us had work in the morning. It was perfect. For the first hour, everything was normal. We had music playing, windows cracked, bags of chips and energy drinks stuffed in the cup holders. The kind of drive where you feel like you're the only two people in the world. Then, I noticed the headlights. They were about 5 or 6 car lengths behind us. Nothing unusual, just another car on the highway. But after 20 minutes, they were still there. Same distance, same position, never getting closer, never falling back. That car's been behind us for a while, I said. Eric glanced at the rearview mirror. So, it's been a while, like we've passed a bunch of exits. He shrugged. Maybe they're going the same direction. I nodded. That made sense. It was a highway. People travel long distances. But something about it felt off. I couldn't explain it. Just a weird gut feeling. Another 30 minutes passed. The car was still there. We took an exit to switch highways, a turn that would take us north. The car followed. Then we took another exit about 40 minutes later, a random one that barely had any signage, the kind you'd only take if you knew the area or made a mistake. The car followed. Okay, that's weird, Eric said. He'd noticed it now, too. I watched the headlights in the side mirror. They were steady, unwavering, and every time I glanced at them, they'd flicker, just once, like the driver knew I was looking. Maybe it's just coincidence, I said, but I didn't believe it. We kept driving. The highway stretched out in front of us, flat and empty. No other cars, just us and the headlights behind us. The silence in the car got heavier. Even the music felt wrong. Eric turned it off. Let's stop for gas, see if they keep going. There was a small gas station coming up in about 10 miles, one of those dingy, fluorescent-lit places that look like they've been forgotten by time. We pulled off the highway and into the lot. The car followed. It didn't pull up to a pump. It didn't park near the entrance. It just rolled into the far corner of the lot, past the dim glow of the overhead lights and stopped, engine still running, headlights still on. Eric and I sat there for a second, staring at it. What the hell? Muttered Eric. I don't know, man. Should we go talk to them? Are you insane? He didn't answer. We both just sat there, watching the car, waiting for the driver to get out, to do something. But they didn't. The car just sat there, idling. No movement, no door opening, nothing. I finally got out to pump the gas, keeping my eyes on that car the whole time. I couldn't see inside. The windows were too dark, but I felt like I was being watched, that prickling sensation on the back of your neck, the one that tells you something's wrong. Eric went inside to grab snacks. I finished pumping, twisted the cap back on, and got in the driver's seat. My hands were shaking. I didn't want to admit it, but I was scared. Eric came out a minute later and slid into the passenger seat. Guy inside said he didn't see anyone else come in. What? No one else has stopped here tonight, just us. We both looked at the car in the corner. Still there, still running. Let's just go, I said. I started the engine, pulled out of the lot, and merged back onto the highway. I watched the rearview mirror. For a few seconds, the car didn't move, and then, like clockwork, it pulled out behind us. You've got to be kidding me, Eric said. I pressed the gas a little harder. We were doing 75, 80, 85. The car behind us kept pace, exactly, like it was tied to us by an invisible string. I thought of an idea, a stupid, desperate idea. Hold on, I said. I slammed on the brakes. The tires screamed. Eric lurched forward against his seatbelt. I gripped the wheel, waiting for the impact, waiting for the car behind us to crash into us. But it didn't. I looked in the mirror. The road was empty, completely empty. No headlights, no car, nothing. We sat there in the middle of the highway, hazard lights on, breathing hard. We didn't say anything for a long time. We just stared at the empty road behind us. Eventually, I started driving again, slower this time. We didn't talk for the next hour, didn't turn the music back on, just drove in silence until we hit the Colorado state line. We told our friends about it when we got there. They laughed it off, said we were paranoid, said we'd been driving too long and seeing things. But 2 months later, I saw a news article, a forum post actually, someone asking if anyone else had experienced something similar on Highway 58. There were dozens of replies, people describing the exact same thing, a car that follows you, never gets closer, never leaves, matches your every move. And then someone linked to an old police report, several disappearances along that stretch of highway, unexplained. Cars found abandoned on the side of the road, engines still running, doors wide open, no signs of struggle, no bodies ever found. And every single one, no one ever saw a license plate on the car that followed them. I don't drive that highway anymore, and I never will again. I don't stop at rest stops anymore. Not at night, not alone, not ever. Because 3 years ago, I pulled into one that I'm not entirely sure was real. And if it was real, I'm not sure the people inside ever left. I was driving from North Carolina to Ohio, 12-hour trip. I'd left late, around 9 at night, because I figured I'd avoid traffic and just power through. But by 2 in the morning, I was fading. Eyelids heavy, that dangerous kind of tired where you catch yourself drifting and jerk the wheel at the last second. I needed to stop, just for 10 minutes, splash some water on my face, walk around, anything to wake up. That's when I saw the sign. Rest stop, 2 miles. Thank God. When I pulled off the highway, the place looked normal. Well lit, a few cars scattered in the parking lot, the kind of setup you'd expect. Single-story brick building, vending machines visible through the windows, those tall lamp-post lights casting everything in that sterile yellow glow. I parked near the entrance and sat there for a second, letting the engine idle. Something felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Maybe it was just the exhaustion messing with my head. I turned off the car and got out. The air was still, no wind, no sound, not even crickets. I walked up to the entrance. The glass doors were unlocked. I pushed one open and stepped inside. The lights were on, fluorescent, buzzing faintly. The bathroom signs glowed green down the hallway. Everything looked operational, but there was no one there. No person at the information desk, no janitor mopping floors, no travelers filling up water bottles or checking their phones. Just silence. "Hello?" I called out. My voice echoed. No answer. I walked further inside, past the vending machines, fully stocked, humming quietly, past a row of wooden benches, and that's when I started noticing the details. There was a coffee cup sitting on one of the benches, still steaming. I touched the side of it, warm, fresh. A phone was plugged into a charging station near the wall, screen lit up with notifications. Someone's phone, just sitting there. A wallet was on the floor near the men's room. I picked it up and opened it. Driver's license inside, credit cards, cash, like someone had dropped it and didn't notice. But where were they? "Hello?" I called again, louder this time. "Is anyone here?" Nothing. I walked toward the hallway where the bathrooms were. The doors were propped open. I could see inside the men's room from where I stood. Stalls open, sinks dry, empty. I stepped inside. The tiles were clean, too clean, like they'd just been scrubbed. I walked to the sink and turned on the faucet, splashed cold water on my face. When I looked up into the mirror, I froze. There was someone standing behind me. I spun around. No one there, just the empty bathroom, stalls still open, door still propped. My heart was pounding. I stared at the mirror again. My own reflection stared back, alone. I backed out of the bathroom slowly, keeping my eyes on the mirror until I was in the hallway. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, steady, coming from deeper in the building, past the bathrooms, past the hallway, somewhere I hadn't been yet. "Hello?" I said, but my voice came out weak. The footsteps stopped. I should have left. I should have walked straight out the front door, gotten in my car, and driven until the sun came up. But I didn't. I moved toward the sound, down the hallway, toward a door marked "Staff Only." I pushed it open. It was a small office, desk, filing cabinets, a security monitor on the wall showing a grid of camera feeds. I stepped closer. The feeds were live. I could see the parking lot, the entrance, the vending machines, the bathrooms, all empty, no movement anywhere. Except, I leaned in closer to the screen. One of the feeds showed the hallway I was just standing in, and in the feed, clear as day, there was someone standing there, a figure facing the camera, motionless. I turned around. The hallway was empty. I looked back at the monitor. The figure was gone. That's when the bathroom door slammed. Not closed, slammed. The sound echoed through the entire building like a gunshot. I ran, didn't think, didn't look back, just sprinted down the hallway, past the vending machines, out the front doors, and straight to my car. I fumbled with my keys, hands shaking so bad I almost dropped them. I got inside, locked the doors, and peeled out of that parking lot doing 50. I didn't stop again until the sun was up. I pulled into another rest stop, this one full of people, families, truckers, normal life. I went inside and found an attendant restocking paper towels. "Hey," I said, still trying to catch my breath, "that rest stop about 60 miles back, the one just off exit 48, is it always that empty?" He looked at me, confused. "Exit 48? Yeah, the rest stop right off the highway." He shook his head. "There's no rest stop at exit 48. Hasn't been for years." I stared at him. "What?" "They closed it down maybe 6, 7 years ago, after some people went missing. They never found them. State shut it down, boarded it up." I felt my stomach drop. I was just there, an hour ago. Lights were on, doors were open. He gave me a long look. Then he just said, "You should get some sleep, man." I wanted to argue, wanted to show him, but I didn't. I just walked back to my car and sat there. I've driven that route a dozen times since then. I always look for exit 48, but I've never seen it again. No sign, no rest stop, nothing. And I'm not sure if that makes it better or worse.
I used to love night drives, windows down, music loud, just me and the open road. But that was before the voice. Before I realized that sometimes the things you hear aren't broadcasts. Sometimes they're warnings. I was driving through Nevada, cutting across the desert on a straight shot to Las Vegas, one of those empty stretches where you can go 30 miles without seeing another car. It was close to midnight, no moon, just endless black highway and my headlights carving a path through the dark. I had my phone plugged in, playing a playlist through Bluetooth. No radio. I never listened to the radio out there. You couldn't get a signal anyway. Just static and dead air from miles. I was about 2 hours into the drive when the music cut out. At first, I thought my phone died, but the screen was still lit, battery at 60%, Bluetooth still connected. I tapped it, thinking maybe the app froze, but before I could do anything, the speakers crackled. Static, thick and heavy, like an old AM station struggling to come through. And then, a voice. "Southbound on Route 95, expect clear conditions for the next 40 miles. I frowned. It sounded like a traffic report, but I wasn't listening to the radio. I was on Bluetooth. There shouldn't have been anything coming through. I looked at my phone, still showing my playlist, paused now, but I hadn't paused it. The voice continued. "Travelers should be aware of construction near mile marker 74. I glanced at the dashboard. Mile marker 72. I'd just passed it. My hands tightened on the wheel. Okay, weird. Maybe some kind of emergency broadcast override? That was the thing, right? The static cleared. The voice came back, clearer this time. For those heading toward Las Vegas tonight, weather is calm. Roads are empty. I exhaled. Just a coincidence. A generic traffic report. Nothing strange about that. And then the voice said, "Especially for you, driving alone." My stomach dropped. I stared at the radio display. Still showed Bluetooth, no station, no signal, just my phone connected, silent. "You just passed the state line about 20 minutes ago," the voice continued, calm, almost conversational. "You're making good time." I reached over and turned the volume knob, down, all the way down. The voice kept going, same volume, unfazed. "There's a gas station coming up in 15 miles. You're probably thinking about stopping." I wasn't, but now I was looking at my gauge, quarter tank. I should stop. "You'll see the sign soon, blue and white, exit 14. I could feel my pulse in my throat. How did it know that? How could it possibly know that? The static returned for a moment, then cleared. "You're wondering how I know," the voice said. I jerked the wheel slightly, heart hammering. It was like it could hear me, like it was in the car with me. "You can't turn me off, Daniel." I yelled, actually yelled. "What the hell do you want?" Silence. Just static, soft, waiting. And then, "I want you to keep driving. Don't take exit 14. Do you understand? Don't stop there." I saw the sign up ahead, exit 14, 1 mile. "I'm serious, Daniel. Do not take that exit." I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to take it just to prove I wasn't being controlled, just to prove this wasn't real. But another part of me, the part that was scared out of my mind, told me to listen. The exit came up on my right. I stayed in the left lane, drove past it, watched it disappear in my rearview mirror. The voice came back, calmer now, almost relieved. "Good. That's good." My GPS suddenly flickered, the screen refreshed, a new route appeared. It was rerouting me, taking me off 95 and onto a smaller highway I'd never heard of. What is this?" I said out loud, not even sure who I was talking to anymore. "A detour, trust me." "I don't even know who you are." Static, a long pause, and then, "You were supposed to stop earlier, at mile marker 66. You were supposed to pull over, check your tire, get out of the car." I remembered mile marker 66. I'd thought about pulling over. My front left tire felt a little off, but I kept going. "If you had stopped," the voice continued, "you wouldn't have made it to exit 14. And if you'd taken exit 14 tonight," the static grew louder, harsher, "you wouldn't have made it anywhere." And then, just like that, the radio cut out, completely. No static, no voice, just silence. My playlist started again, mid-song, like nothing had happened. I drove the rest of the way in shock. I didn't stop, didn't even slow down, just followed the GPS detour until I hit the outskirts of Vegas and pulled into the first hotel I could find. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone, trying to make sense of it. The next morning, I looked up exit 14 on Route 95. There were dozens of articles. A fatal crash, 8 years ago. A semi had jackknifed at the gas station right off that exit, killed 3 people. One of them was a local radio host, guy named Carter Webb. He was doing a live broadcast from his car that night. He was headed to Vegas for a guest spot on a morning show. They said the last thing listeners heard before the crash was him talking, calm, steady, telling people to drive safe. And then, static. I don't know what I heard that night. I don't know if it was him or something else. But I know one thing. I was supposed to stop at mile marker 66. And if I had, I would have taken exit 14. And I wouldn't be here to tell you this.